Hey everyone, and welcome to the Solar Pedal Collective. My name's Ryan, and here we rise through shared light. It's great having you here, great having you back here. I know it's been a few days since I have posted anything, but right now I'm kind of being told to, I'm being told to not try to post every day. It's not about the hustle. That's not why I'm posting these videos. It's not about like trying to get myself monetized or anything. And yes, I want to build a community, and I do want to make this kind of a side hustle that is going to essentially become a job, and not just the streaming aspect, but like the spiritual aspect, like doing tarot readings and things like that online. I want to incorporate it into parts of things that I'm going to be doing for a business that I want to create, and that I'm being told that that's my purpose, is not the business itself, but what the business is going to do, which is to help people. And we got really serious right into this video. But no, it's just, I was explaining why I don't stream, or not stream, but why I don't post stuff every day, and why I seem very nonchalant about putting things out there. It's just because I'm being told, yes, I am supposed to be in the spotlight. Yes, I am supposed to be in, like, I'm being told either like a leader type role in the coming years, or in a position of authority. And I mean, I've received so many different messages, and not to lie, like I'm not like not trying to lie or anything. I don't know why that word came out, but not trying to not belittle, but not trying to lessen anything, because I'm receiving tons of messages. Like, I've received messages that I'm God, like, not necessarily I am God, but I am a God. I am tied or in some way lineaged with Ra, the sun god, either reborn, reincarnated, or part of his lineage. So my energy very much is in the same kind of frequency as his, but not just Ra. Like, once Ra came through, it's actually been like the pantheon of Egyptian gods. Ra, the other two goddesses that kind of helped Ra form the tree of life, like the triangle, which is Ra, and then there's, I actually have a book for this. So I actually have a book for this, and there is a cut there, and the cut was just so I could get this book. So I got this recently, The Kemetic Spirituality. It kind of goes over everything about like the whole Kemetic, or Kemet. Not necessarily religion, but like spiritual evolution, things like that. The focus is on like the gods, not necessarily Egyptian gods alone, but at the very, because it goes over like the very beginning of creation and stuff like that. So let me find it real quick. There. So the two gods that there. I am not going to be able to pronounce this. So it's, I'm going to butcher this. The full name is Nebethet Tepet, or Nebet Hotep. It's oh, my chair's spinning. Here we go, right here. and then this is like the short form. Or Nebet Hotep represents rest. And then alongside motion, which is represented by Iswaset, which is the grandmother of the gods. Here we go. Iswaset, which is the grandmother of the gods. Goddesses. So with Nebet Hotep and Iswaset, with Ra, those three essentially created the tree of life. But there's a ton of gods, as you saw on that list. Nun, or I think it's pronounced Nun. I don't know. I don't think it's Nun. I think it's Nun. Which was like the primordial chaos waters that were on the earth, which Ra rose from. So I've been getting a lot of messages like, I am tied to all of them, and not just Egyptian gods. I am tied to all of them, all gods, all goddesses. That's what I'm being told in meditations. And that sounds very pompous. That sounds very egotistical. And I'm actually not. I'm not a very pompous. I'm not a very egotistical person. I am very much one who has very often made themselves little so that others could shine. I'm very much a humble person. I don't brag. I don't try to grandstand. I don't try to control a room. I observe. That's what I've always done. I observe. I am quiet. I am calculated. Usually when I'm going into a space that I don't know, and I observe. I watch people. People watching is probably by far one of my favoriteest things to do, is people watch. Because there's so much that you can learn from somebody, a complete stranger, just in passing, just by what they do. And you can understand the basic personality of people. But I mean, knowing, so that is my favorite pastime, is watching people. But knowing what I know now with my spiritual awakening and everything, like as I'm going through my spiritual awakening process, my people watch is more than just watching people's body language. My people watching, like, I have like my intuition and my ability. One of my abilities has been like I can divine more about people than like the average Joe. When I people watch, I can actually sometimes hear what they're saying in their head. I know that sounds ridiculous. But just the other day, I was at the movies with the family, and we were watching the new Superman. I think that was the one we went to, where I remember this. But yeah, we were watching the new Superman, and I remember this woman coming down the stairs, because we were close to the edge, and this woman coming down the stairs, and she was going quickly, and it caught my attention. So like I looked at her, and she was going downstairs. She wasn't saying anything, but I could very distinctly hear in a voice, shit, 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 shit. And like as she went past me, like it sounded like it was getting quieter and quieter and quieter. And when she came back, like I didn't hear anything from her until she sat down, and then I heard her voice. because she talked to the person she was with. And it was the exact voice that I heard going down, like when she went down the stairs going shit, 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 shit. But her mouth was not moving. So the only way I can explain that is of two ways. I actually heard what she was saying in her head, or I somehow intuitively calculated based upon like how she looked, her age, her body type, and everything, how her voice was going to sound. Which, thinking about it, the second option seems more unrealistic. It seems more unrealistic to me because how would I know? Because how she looks, her age, and everything dictates nothing about her vocal cords. Like, she could have smoked, she could have had her vocal cords damaged, any number of things on top of that. So, as outlandish as it sounds, the first of two choices of what it could potentially be, or it could be I heard her in passing or whatever. That could be the third. So there's three. But the first choice makes more sense to me. I mean, the third choice does make sense because you're always collecting information, and I could have heard her voice in passing, and I could have seen her, and my body registered that person with that voice and cataloged it in my brain. And then when she passed, like, I somehow made up her saying shit, 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 like she was going to the bathroom or something. I don't know. But that's a stretch because I was focused on the movie. So, and I don't remember ever seeing her in the lobby. I don't remember seeing her pass us to sit down, so she was already sitting down when we got into the movie theater. So there's that situation. So long story, long explanation short, I think that my abilities tailor, like my people watching was more than just people watching. Like I'm intuitively divining more than just things from their body language. And my realization of that kind of freaked me out at first. But after thinking about it, it was like, it absolutely makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. So, but yeah, I'm there's so much that I'm getting. There's so much information that I'm getting. There's so much. And when I tell you that you realize tower moments, small tower moments are very noticeable. Small tower moments are very noticeable. And when my spiritual awakening started, there was no tower moments. It was like just a light switch turned on, and I was going from like a normal horizontal line going through life to just all of a sudden exponentially growing. And at the very beginning, there were no tower moments. It was just like I awoke and my spiritual journey started, and it was just like trying to understand all this information, trying to figure out what's going on and all that stuff. But now the tower moment is happening, and it's a big tower moment. I'm not going to get into it, but I am letting you know that small tower moments are very noticeable. Big tower moments, it feels like, what is going on in the world kind of a thing. I mean, yes, there's stuff going on in the world that is also very bad. That is also like a huge umbrella arc tower moment for the entire species, for the entire planet. But I'm talking about the tower moment just specific to my life is been huge. And I very much trust the process. I through the abrupt spiritual awakening that I've been having, like I have surrendered to my divine purpose. I have surrendered to it. I trust the process. I trust the universe. I trust what's happening. And it sucks. It sucks to go through it. All painful moments, all negative moments in your life, all tower moments in your life suck. They're horrible. There's no other way to put it. It is excruciating. It's painful. Like you sit there and you contemplate why. Why am I having to go through this? Why me? But if you just let go of the why me, let go of the victim. Stop saying why me and start asking, what purpose does this have? Because that's what it is. A tower moment isn't there to test you. It's not. It's really not. The universe is not doing tower moments to test you. The universe is doing tower moments because your soul contract, your spirit, needs to go through that specific moment of hardship. Your spirit has to go through it. It's part of the contract. Because as you go through it, you are going to come to realizations. You're going to come through sequences during the tower moment that your spirit needs to grow. Like it needs it. Any other thing that happens, like if you lived a peaceful life and you had this soul contract where you had zero tower moments, zero conflict, like zero, or your soul contract was you needed tower moments for your soul to grow so that you could essentially ascend to a higher vibration. That was your soul contract. But for whatever reason, you avoided tower moments. You made that choice. And so your soul never got those tower moments that it needed. But a soul contract does not end when your physical body ends. Your soul contract is your soul contract. And it doesn't, like, it's going to get those tower moments. Might not be in this life, might not be in the last life, might not be 400 lives from now, but it will get those tower moments. And it can pepper them in there. The whole point of the tower moments is for your soul to grow, is for your soul to elevate, to change frequencies. And it's not a specific test per se. The universe isn't like, here's a tower moment, you make the choice, and there is a wrong one. That's not what it is. The tower moments are infinite possibilities, essentially a crossroads. The tower moment is okay, here is a moment for your soul contract. You get to decide how you're going to grow. And what a lot of people are getting confused is raising your vibration is good. Lowering your vibration is not necessarily bad. So there is a middle. There's a neutral point. That's where we are. That's where you are. You are at neutrality. You can either raise your vibration or lower your vibration. Either way, you are shifting out of a 3D reality. Think about that. One step up, either way, you are technically in 4D. Keep going, you are in 5D, 6, 7. It's not morality. It's not good or evil. It's different sides of a coin. It's yin and yang. There has to be an extreme at one end for an extreme at the other. There has to be high vibration for a low vibration. There has to be balance. There is always balance. Always balance. So your vibration going lower is not necessarily a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. So you need to, it's not that your vibration is lower is bad. It's that people assume going lower in vibration is negative. And the way that we have cataloged things that you can go to a negative value. 0 is neutral. Going below 0 is negative. Going above 0 is positive. So we have that filter stuck in our brain of going down is bad, going up is good. That is not necessarily the case, because in the grand scheme of the universe, there is no up or down. There is just balance. It's how you embrace it. So if your vibration, so for an example, if your vibration, let's say you're meditating, let's say you're doing shadow work, and you get a message or a download that says like, your vibration is meant to go lower because you have a purpose with a lower vibration. It's how you embrace that. If your vibration is meant to go lower, it's how you embrace it. And what happens to a lot of people is when their vibration starts going lower, they fracture because of the filters that have been ingrained in us, that you going lower is a bad thing. And so it fractures their consciousness very quickly because, oh, their vibration is going lower, lower, lower. They're trying to do all the things that everybody else is saying, this is what you need to do to raise your vibration. But because their vibration is meant to go lower, when they do all that work, it lowers their vibration. And so they're feeding a feedback loop. They're trying to do things thinking that that's going to raise their vibration, but it just lowers their vibration. And so they get so disheartened, so like in a panic, because it's bad. It's not supposed to happen that way. It's not supposed to do this. I want to raise my vibration. Why is it lowering? What is going on? And that is, in that instance, you need, like, a person needs to think. It's not up or down. You need to change the aspect of, it's not like this, it's like this. And then you have this side of it and this side of it. That way, it's all in the same plane. You are not going up or down. It's not good or bad. It's just two sides of a scale. Two sides of a whole spectrum. It's not good or bad. It's just is. And the way other creatures look, other species, I don't understand how we have such an aversion. Like, other life outside of this planet. I don't understand how we have such an aversion to things that look different than us. Because every other species on this planet looks different than us. But we assume that because animals look the way that they're less intelligent than us. Because they don't look like they're humans. Like, they don't look like humans. Their brains aren't big enough. What a very conceited thing to think. I mean, it's understandable, but also what a very conceited thing to think. They were made a specific way for a purpose. So, but other species that are maybe interstellar, like maybe, what if what we perceive as demons are just a interdimensional species? Yes, they can be negative. Yes, they could be malicious in nature. But just basing on how they look is the adage, don't judge a book by its cover. So, like, there are other beings out there that are going to look how humanity perceives as very grotesque, very evil, very mean looking, very freakish, very ugly, because we are a very physical species. We look at somebody and that's how we dictate if we want to essentially breed with them. That is our hardwire evolutionary aspect. So we're very physical, visual beings. And so when something that we perceive as something we don't like, we hate it. But that being could be essentially more benevolent than any other species we've ever encountered. But we would hate it because it looks ugly. That is incredibly vain. That is incredibly shallow. So the big thing is you need to keep an open mind. You need to keep an open mind. Just because your vibration is meant to go lower does not necessarily mean that you are evil. Does not necessarily mean that you are meant for bad things. It doesn't even necessarily mean that you are not meant to transition to what some people call the new earth. Like the reality shift. Not a, like, even a timeline shift. Because even though your vibrations may be lowering, if you accept that and you embrace it and you embrace who you are, you embrace the change, you will still connect to consciousness. Because that is where your vibration is supposed to go. And if you embrace it, you will connect to consciousness. And just because your vibration is going lower does not mean that you have to do bad things. It doesn't even mean that you are doing bad things. It's just your vibration is meant to be on a lower vibration. But a lower vibration doesn't mean that you are not still transitioning to a 4D, 5D reality. It just means that you are the opposite to somebody else's energy on the other side of the spectrum. That's all it is. It's you are just part of a balance. But it doesn't mean good or evil. Good and evil are human concepts. So, I mean, it's just like the thing, do you consider a lion running down and killing a gazelle as evil? It is, in our perspective, that is technically murder. but because it's a lion, it's okay. That to me, that does not make sense. Because if we as human beings are going to have this stance of morality, it can't be pick and choose morality. You can't say that person murdering that person is bad, but that animal murdering that animal, that's just the circle of life. I mean, yes, that is the circle of life, but also morally, that's bad. Right? Murdering something that can't defend itself is bad. So, I mean, it's a whole lot of perspective. It's a whole lot of, we have a very human perspective. We perceive ourselves as the dominant species on this planet. We perceive ourselves as an intelligent species. We perceive ourselves as more than what we are. And ultimately, we perceive ourselves as better than anything else. Not everyone. Not everyone perceives that. Because those that are awakening, those that have experienced, they know. Like they've had proof. They know. And they are humble. But the ones who are still ignorant, the ones who are still throwing out the narrative of fear, the ones who are still trying to control everything, they don't. They don't. They see themselves as better than all. They see themselves as gods over the gods. And they're going to be getting a rude awakening, is what I'm being told. They're going to be getting a very rude awakening. A lot of things are coming to this planet. And I don't know if 3i Atlas is, well, I mean, it is scientifically, like they are saying scientifically it's artificial in nature. It's emitting its own light source, and all that fun stuff. And when 3i Atlas was actually starting to come into our solar system is when I got that message from Ra that he is returning. Like I got that message, I think it was like a couple weeks before the first sightings of 3i Atlas. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's a lot of things are going to be happening. And before the end of the year. Things are going to escalate with like natural disasters, because I'm being told with a consciousness shift that a lot more people connecting with the overall mass consciousness, the human consciousness, that because that consciousness is also tied to the planet, the more people that are awakening and show like awakening and tying to that consciousness, so now their emotions are tied to it. So when we as the collective, the consciousness collective, start to feel anger and pain and things like that, the planet starts to respond. And that's why we're getting more storms, more flooding, more earthquakes, is because the earth is starting to respond to the mass consciousness. It's starting to mirror the emotion and pain that the consciousness is feeling. And it's it itself, the earth itself is alive. The earth itself has consciousness. It's just, it's very, it's like the baseline of all consciousness that we interact with. It's like the base sublayer. It's the foundation. So it has consciousness, and it responds to the consciousness, the mass human consciousness. It responds to it because it is the foundation. It's what our consciousness is based on. So we start to see more natural disasters because it's starting to respond to the consciousness more, because the consciousness is starting to awake. It's starting to feel the pain. It's starting to shout, stop, that's enough. And so it's interesting. This is a very serious recording, but I mean, I was told to record today. And going all the way back to why we went down this rabbit hole is why I I don't try to record and get stuff out there every day. It's because I'm being told I don't have to, because that's not my purpose. It's not my purpose to sit there and try to hustle. It's not my purpose to try to get all revenues of income to provide. It will be provided. And that I need to grow my abilities more, and I need to be quiet and calm and meditate and like go through this spiritual awakening and be present and aware in the moment. And they tell me when I need to like post a video, like, hey, you need to record, get this out there, things like that. So I kind of just wanted to share that. It went a lot longer than I had planned it to. And if you're starting to have any experiences like that, or if you feel that very much resonates with you, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. And if you find yourself coming back again and again to this content, please hit that like and subscribe and the bell notification. You can hit the like no matter what. Even if you don't like it, hit a like. I don't know. Helps me out. But no, I very much appreciate your time and energy on these videos, coming to these videos, watching, and any information, any comments or anything that people leave, I very much appreciate it. Unless it's negative, I don't appreciate it as much, but you're allowed to leave a comment, but don't expect to stick around. That kind of thing. So thank you so very much, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.